back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. The listeners of this podcast really don't know how fucking lucky you are. You really don't know how fucking lucky you are, because you're meant to learn from other people's mistakes, and speaking to you directly right now is one of the world's stupidest human beings. You have front row seats and are witnessing one of God's dumbest creatures. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I'm changing career paths and I'm becoming an investor. I'm getting into the stock game. I'm going to buy shares. I'm going to sell shares. I'm going to be like the Wolf of Wall Street. That's what it felt like in my mind. I'm like, I'm entering this game. I'm entering this world. I'm ready to be part of it now, because I've always been a little bit conservative money-wise. And that's mainly due to not having any money. No, that's entirely due to having no money, ever. But earlier this year when COVID hit, the government let you withdraw money out of your retirement fund. So I have a little bit of extra cash lying around. So I thought, why not? Why not get into the game? I haven't worked in 6 months. There's no money coming in. I've got a newborn baby. Let's roll the dice on a little bit of speculative trading. Yeah, that's right. Let's get into a little bit of speculative trading in the middle of a fucking pandemic and at the start of the second Great Depression. That's when the stock market's going to work for me. Timing is everything. If you said to me when I was like 25, Boyle, actually not even 25, if you said to me like 6, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, if you said this to me in January, if you said, Boyle, what you're going to do in October is you're going to have a new kid, there's going to be a pandemic, the world is in the middle of a Great Depression, it's going bankrupt, and you, my friend, you, Mr. Boyle, are going to withdraw some of your retirement money out and start rolling the dice on some fucking unknown stock. Actually, if you said that to me a month ago, I would have been like, you're a fucking maniac. But something washed over me in the last 3 weeks and I'm like, I need to get into stock. And so far, I'm 2 weeks in and it has not gone to plan. It ain't fucking pretty. And I was driving today and I just dropped my kid off at childcare and I looked at my profit and loss and there was a lot of fucking red. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, how did it go wrong? Like, let's take it back to the beginning of this whole process. Where did it go wrong? What steps did I do wrong? Let's look back and what are the wrong moves I made? So I decided in my head, I'm like, all right, let's pretend you're having a conversation with someone who knows something about stocks and shares and buying and selling them. An investor, a real investor. Let's pretend you're having a conversation with a real investor. So it went something like this. I'm going to start buying and selling a few shares. And the other guy's like, oh yeah, do you have a financial advisor? And I'm like, yeah, my mate Dino. And the investor's like, oh yeah, does he work for one of the big 4 banks, does he? I'm like, nah. Does he manage hedge funds? Is he into securities or anything? And I'm like, nah, he's actually the personal trainer. He's actually the personal trainer at the golf club. But he's getting good advice from someone. Oh yeah, okay, so who's he getting the advice from? Well, he's getting the advice from the tennis trainer at the golf club. Yeah, the tennis trainer. Nah, he's just a part-time tennis trainer. He really likes investing, and apparently he had a job at a stockbroking firm and refused to take it because that was too much work. It was too much work, and it was too risky. So he decided to just become a tennis trainer for 25 years. At this stage, the guy I'm talking to, the real investor, thinks I'm joking. So he's laughing with me, and I've got a straight face. I'm not even laughing. I'm not laughing, and I don't see what's wrong with any of this. So the investor just keeps on asking questions like to humor me. He's like, oh yeah, so how much of your net worth are you going to put into that? And I'm like, all of it. I don't fuck around. It's all or nothing for me. It's Wolf of Wall Street for me or jail. I'm either in the tower with Margaret Robbie blowing me or I'm in jail blowing some dude. So the investor's like, let me get this right. He still thinks I'm joking. Let me get this right. You've never traded shares before and you are getting financial advice from your personal trainer and you are going to risk your entire net worth on this endeavor. And I'm like, no, he's not actually my personal trainer. He's some bonghead I met at university when I failed for 8 years. He's a good friend of mine, Dino. And the investor's like, okay, does he have any experience at all in share trading? Not share trading as such, but I did watch him take 2 tabs of acid once and finish a university assignment. And I'm pretty sure those 2 skill sets cross over. So I'm having this conversation in my head and I'm like, oh, that's it. I get it. I'm a fucking moron. This is just an expensive lesson I have to learn because I'm dumb. It's like a stupidity tax. I've paid a lot of fucking stupidity taxes in my life. So this share I bought, you just would not believe the 2 weeks it's had. It's fucking amazing. I think it's broken some records in the last 2 weeks. So this is how it played out. So not last Tuesday, the Tuesday before, I deposited the money into my brand new share trading account, ComSec. And there was a few different shares Dino had his eye on, but he chose this one. You can look it up. It's on the Australian Stock Exchange. Look at the fucking chart for this thing. It's called 3DA. It's a 3D printing company. I know nothing about it. I know zero about this fucking stock. I'm just running off Dino and his tennis coach fucking friend. So on the Tuesday I went to buy it. It was trading at 64 cents. So me and Dino decide to put a bid in for 62 cents, expecting it to go down. And it didn't go down at all. It went up. And it continued going up. And it continued going up. And for about 8 straight days, it just kept on going up. And we're like, oh, fuck. This stock is ready to explode. And we didn't get it at 62 cents, so I hadn't bought the stock. So I'm like, fuck it. All right. I missed out on a little bit of profit there. I'll buy it now at 78 cents. So I bought it at 78 cents about a week ago. And then the next day it went up to 81 cents. And I'm like, thank God I got in at 78 cents. And then the day after that, it started dropping. And it started dropping real fucking fast. If you look at a chart for this particular stock, it's got a big peak. Like it's a giant mountain. It's like Mount Everest. And to use an analogy, I bought the stock. I didn't buy the stock at base camp. Let's put it that way. I bought the stock about 2 steps from where Sir Edmund Hillary planted the fucking New Zealand flag on the peak of Everest. And I never made it to the peak because I fell off the side of the fucking mountain. So pretty much as soon as I bought that stock, it went up for 1 minute and then it's been going down ever since. So I went back down to 78. I'm like, well, I haven't lost any money. Then the next day I went to 74. I'm like, well, I've lost a little bit of money. Then it went down to 70. I'm like, well, hopefully it can climb back up. Then it went down to 68. I'm like, how much does Dino know about stock? Have I been following the right financial advice here? Then it went down to 64. I'm like, well, it fucking serves you right. And then today it went down to 62. And I'm like, well, this has been an expensive lesson, but it's been a good lesson. I know now. I know for sure I'm a fucking moron. There's no doubts about it anymore. Yeah, it's cost me a lot of money. But I would have had to have seen psychologists and done the landmark forum and paid a lot of money to find out what I've found out in the last 5 or 6 days. That I am a purebred, unadulterated, fucking one brain cell moron. I waited this fucking long. I've waited all my life to make possibly one of the worst trades in the history of fucking trading. With my first trade. Oh, it's fucking funny. It went up 20%. I bought it at its highest. I bought it at its fucking peak. And the day I bought it, it's dropped 20.5% in 5 days since I've owned this fucking stock. I hope my wife didn't hear that because she does not know about this. I've just been telling her, don't worry, babe. This is a long-termer. Oh, what a fucking idiot. I should have just bought a fucking kilo of Coke. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, please share it. Share it. I need more listeners. This thing needs to fucking take off. All right, I'll see you the fuck later.